Hello, my name's James Bailey, and this is my brochure on the educational impacts of autism, or we'll be calling it ASD in this PowerPoint slide. So moving on to attributes of autism. So moving on, starting with sensory sensitivities, this is a crucial one. So those noisy and busy classrooms can often give students with autism anxiety. Those noise levels, when the students are communicating quite loud and the noise levels got a bit too high, that can lead to anxiety, which could cause students to shut down or withdraw from tasks. So regulating that noise classroom is very important. So sudden changes in routines or schedules can lead to further anxiety as well. So it's important to openly communicate and announce changes that have been made to the student's day. So that can be done through like a board schedule, so it's visible, so the students can see. Social communication and relationships. So students with autism, they do want that companionship with their peers, they do want friends, but often it can be quite hard for them to interact with their peers simply because they can't pick up on social cues or can't, for example, sarcasm, they can't understand that or struggle to pick it up. So it's quite hard for them to interact or build relationships with their peers. Girls with autism are often diagnosed a lot later in life simply because they will actually camouflage their autism by mimicking and copying actions of their peers. They'll copy their behaviours or interactions from their students, from their classmates, So that's why they'll be diagnosed a lot later in life. So communication as behaviour, this is a big one as well. So behaviour often communicates needs such as anxiety, confusion or sensory overload, rather than simple defiance or acting out. Teachers who do try and communicate when they see this defiance behaviour, it's actually not them trying to cause you trouble, it's them expressing physically what they're trying to express verbally. So if you haven't explained a task properly or they are getting stressed out by that not classroom noise, they might act out physically. They might be showing signs of stress, and that is them communication as behaviour. Classroom strengths and challenges. So students with ASD will show a focus of their interests. So if you can relate that into the lesson topic, that would be exceptional. Students have detailed memories and creative problem thinking skills are very high in the right environment. However, challenges can occur when having to read body language, follow multi-step instructions, or managing those sensory inputs like light or noise level. The learning effects. So some students excel when the tasks are very structured, lots of scaffolding and hands-on or technology-based. However, they do struggle with those open-ended writing, debates or group projects. So a lot of those that they do struggle with is that when they have to be social, interact with their peers, just because of the lack of those social cues that they don't understand or can't pick up. Difficulties with functioning and literal thinking and anxiety can impact organisation, language use and focus on new learning. So those new topics can be quite daunting or confronting for them, and that will just spiral into anxiety, leading to disruptive behaviours. Evidence-based teaching practices to help you in the classroom. So starting with communication, which is a big one. In the classroom, you want to use calm, clear and predictable language, making sure the students are prepared before you start speaking to them and giving them instructions, and give them time to process these instructions that you've told them. There's no point in unloading a lot of information on them because that's just going to cause them anxiety and lead to disruptive behaviours. So don't use any sarcasm, use straightforward, literal language while providing them tools like help cards, break cards or emotional support cards. So that can look like if they are feeling overwhelmed by the classroom, they can place a card that is red, for example, on their desk. That signals to you that they are overwhelmed and need a break from the classroom. So model these good communication skills and through role play, guided practice and focusing on tone, turn taking and body language. Repetition is key and it helps them develop these skills so they can interact with their peers and lead to possibly creating friendships and getting along with their peers. Moving on to visual aids, which is another evidence-based teaching practice. Visual aids can take form in the place of pictures, checklists and schedules. Displaying these visually for students can lower anxiety by reducing confusion and letting students know exactly what is expected of them. So an example of this is for a checklist is when they walk in from lunch, to Period 6 English lesson. You have up on the whiteboard that they are expected to have their spelling books, their pens, and they get into their spelling groups. Teachers can model these steps by written or visual instructions, which stay visible and give students ongoing support and independence. So, for example, they are making a poster on Captain Cook. They need to know their subheadings, which are already displayed for them, and they just have to independently research those subheadings. Rules and consequences. So having clear rules and consistent routines and reinforcing this positive behaviour through the use of class dojo points, for example, helps encourage positive behaviours. Consequences, however, for bad behaviour, it's important to understand that this behaviour might be a reflection of sensory overload rather than defiance. So that is important to pick up on. Resources to assist you in the classroom. So Class Dojo is a point system to reinforce positive behaviour. The MTSS framework gives support to students to match their social, academic and behavioural needs. Reading Rockets gives you a comprehensive visual aids assistance. And please also access in my brochure my reference list. So this is a range of academics that have researched in depth the attributes of autism and evidence-based practices and more. So please give those a read. Thank you very much.